Welcome back to Hawk Talk. This is your hour-long look inside of the world of Indiana University Northwest Athletics, and we're coming to you from above the Savannah Center in the Student Life Center here at Indiana University Northwest in Gary, Indiana. My name is Brian Snow, and let's get down to business. My first guest this afternoon is the head coach of the Red Hawk baseball team and a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Dan Soria. Good afternoon to you, Coach.
Good afternoon. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good. I know you've got a lot of expectations, so let's get to those first. Coming into this season, this being your first full year, what are your expectations coming into this season?
That's a big question even in itself. There are a lot of expectations. Like I said, this is my first year here. The program in the past few years has struggled quite a bit. They've won, one game in the last 3 seasons. I was an assistant coach here last year, so I got to see some of the hardships they went through. So my main goal this year is probably to get through the season with a full roster, everybody intact, regarding injuries or anything like that. But to make it through the full season, everybody kind of have fun, and also to win a few games. I mean, obviously our number one goal is to win more games than they have in the past. So
you have a big series coming in March, and that takes you to the Metrodome in Minneapolis. How big of a thrill is it going to be for your players to play on that field?
Well, great thrill for them, but also for me. I mean, that's a major league ballpark, and to coach there, I've never had the opportunity to play at the Metrodome, but just to play on a major league field, it's like playing at U.S. Cellular Field or Wrigley Field, something like that, hopefully the players realize what a big, like you said, big series, a big experience that would be altogether, just to play somewhere where the World Series has been played. Just a great overall experience. I hope they enjoy it.
You mentioned the big thing being the experience, and for the players to get the experience of playing at the Metrodome, but not only just playing there for part of the season, but having a full season, a full schedule, and not only a full team. You mentioned that being big for you as well. From what you had a chance to look at so far, if you had a chance to, what do you think are your strong points coming into this year?
The major strong point would be our pitching staff. We actually have 5 really strong pitchers. And at our level, the NAI level, pitching makes a huge difference because everyone can pretty much hit, but here, there's a big difference in between, like Division I, you got to throw 90, 95. Here, if you got somebody that throws 85, he's a lot stronger. So now I have 5 really, really good pitchers, and that makes a huge difference in giving up runs, giving up walks, and being able to compete at this level. So I'm really excited about my pitching staff. The hitting's going to come. We have a lot of guys that can swing the bat, but pitching is where we're going to win some games.
Being able to mesh together as a team is a big key for you as well. And you mentioned something that's real big, having a full roster. Talk about some of the parts that you have on this roster and how they're going to come together for you as a team.
Well, the full roster comes with having, a pitching staff with just guys who just pitched, because last year's team, we had 9 guys at probably 50% of our games. So one guy would have to pitch and then go play third, or one guy would have to catch and then pitch. And it's real difficult for a player to do that, to make that adjustment from the field to the mound. So with the full roster, it allows us to have just position players, have their spot in the lineup, and then pitchers knowing that they're just going to pitch. Got their full mental, mind on just pitching that game and preparing for that game the whole week, knowing that they are going to pitch. And also, barring any injuries, like I said, we're going to have 18 players, 20 players hopefully.
That's a big thing, having a full roster, having a full pitching staff as well. And something else that I happened to read on the website that's a big improvement, the ballpark itself.
Yeah, well, we actually have our own field here on campus, which nobody really knew was there. It had been neglected for the last 3 years, weeds growing everywhere, and we kind of resurrected it over the summer with the league that I play in, which is an old men's league. Say I'm an old man, but we all put it together, and we actually had our playoffs there and everything like that. So it was actually quite good, because last year's team, we actually had to go practice at a public ballpark, which was like a high school field, and it was horrible. And this field is actually, even with the resurrection that we did, is actually in really good shape. I mean, it's got lights, it's got brick dugouts. The field playing surface is even. There's no lot of noise. It's actually a really, really good ballpark to play in. So hopefully now we have that at our, that we can use for practice and games. So,
and the other big thing that's coming to campus is the same thing that is here for basketball, and that's to have your baseball games go live over the web in broadcast form. That's got to be an absolute huge thrill for you and your staff and your team.
Definitely having just the exposure. I mean, last year, something that I'm fighting with at this school is that, no one really knew that we had a baseball team or sports in general at the school. So if we could do something like webcasting or anything going over the radio, over the web, anything that exposes us to the region is just miles beyond what the school had before. And it's always a positive experience to know that, if a player's playing, their mom and dad could listen to them, at home or in a car or somewhere like that they have access to.
And we will have the baseball season for you over the Red Hawk Sports Network. That's Coach Dan Soria, the head man of the Red Hawk baseball team. Good luck to you this season. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
We got more on Hawk Talk after this message on the Red Hawk Sports Network.